Welcome to Sought After Sweet Sonita. What are you supposed to be doing between the engagement and the wedding itself? The engagement or courtship period, as some people call it, is a very crucial moment. It is a time when you can make or mar your future marriage. And if you are wise, you use the opportunity to give your marriage a very good foundation within this period. So it is very necessary, whether you're not yet in a relationship or you are in one, for you to prepare your mind ahead of time of what you will do when you finally find the person, so that when the time comes, your emotions will not crowd your brain and you will just misuse the time. Many people misuse this time in so many ways. Some people, when they are engaged, they just get so excited and then they just rush straight to wedding plans. When somebody proposes, you say yes, or you propose to a lady and she says yes, there are things to do before the wedding. So people just hurriedly move in together. If you're watching movies now, you'll notice that mostly when somebody is engaged to somebody, they just move in together. And we watch it and we're like, wow, they are in love, so lovely. As if it's normal. It is not normal. It is wrong. That is not the right thing to do after you're engaged. Engagement is not marriage. For some people, when they engage one another, the next thing is they go and sit. Year in, year out, nothing progress. The engagement ring in the lady's finger. No, that's not it. You don't rush into the wedding after engagement. You don't just go and stay back and do nothing. That period is for you to put together some key things. It is the period where you need to start leaving your father and your mother and start becoming one. Where you need to intentionally build the foundation for the marriage that you want tomorrow. When the two of you decide that, oh yes, we will get married to each other, the first thing you need to do is create timelines. Before you two came together, you did not have exactly the same plans. So you need to sit down and talk and decide, when are we getting married? You decide this based on the phases of life both of you are in now. Let me say, for example, if one person is trying to round up with a degree in school, while the other person is trying to finish up with some busy things at work, both of you need to sit down together, talk. Will this take us 1 year, 2 years? Will it take us 6 months? So you put a date for your wedding. You don't only put a date for the wedding alone. You put dates for key important things that you need to do within the time before you finally wed. For example, in 4 months' time, I'll be graduating. June next year, we'll go to do the traditional rites. In 5 months' time, you'll travel. You'll spend a month out of the country. Then you'll come back. You put timelines, the key things, so that the wait will not seem like an eternity, and so that you don't rush and misplace things that were to be handled before you finally settle down. Note that timelines should be realistic. Put timelines that you will be able to meet up with them. But then, if you are unable to meet up with them for good reason, not that you're just lax and letting things pass you by, be flexible. Be flexible with one another. Be understanding. Work within your timelines, but work in a way that will favor both of you. When you say that yes to one another, one key thing you should do is personally inform key people. It is disrespectful for some people to hear of your relationship from social media. Talk to key people, meet your parents. It might not be the traditional formal introduction yet, but introduce one another to your parents, your good friends, people that you know that have your heart, your mentors. Let them know. I know that normally before you even go to propose to a lady or to say yes to a man, your mentor already know. But that official introduction is called honor. That's how they see that you value their view. And all of these things need to be in the timeline that you have sat down and you have drawn. Both of you need to agree on when you have to do that. It will not be a situation where the girl is dragging the guy, let's go and see my father, and the guy is saying that no, next year. No. Both of you need to agree on that. Sometimes it's difficult to agree on a particular time you want to do something. Both of you to create a compromise. See, relationships sometimes is about compromise. That is how you express love to one another. You will not always have things done at the exact time that you wanted to do your things, because now you are working with another person. So create compromises. Be ready to wait sometimes and do something a little later than you wanted, and also be ready to do something a little faster than you wanted. Create those compromises. when it comes to drawing your timeline, and especially when it comes to when you will meet people and every other thing in the relationship. The next thing that you need to spend your time doing is premarital counseling. If you want to get a healthy relationship as an individual, even while looking for somebody, you have like your mentor counseling you as you go about the process. But when the two of you say yes to one another, you need to have premarital counseling together. Don't do that mistake of spending all your relationship time gisting and doing whatever I don't know. And then 2 weeks to your wedding, you rush to your church pastor, quick counseling to fulfill all righteousness so that they can take it to the altar. No. Spend your time during courtship doing proper counseling. Give it the time. Go to a proper counselor. In some denominations, you are supposed to be counseled by the church pastor. But in some denominations, they have a whole committee in church in charge of family. Whatever your denomination has, it is just normal to go through counseling with them. But you must agree that not all pastors are good marriage counselors. There are some pastors that when you look at even their marriages, you don't even want yours to be like theirs. So I advise you to look for another counselor to counsel you while going on with that. Every relationship is unique and is different. While going on with counseling, maintain the uniqueness of your relationship. You're not trying to copy another person's family lifestyle, but I advise you to learn from the couples that you see succeeding. They don't need to succeed in everything before you learn from them. If you see a couple succeeding in their finances, move on to them and let them counsel you on finances. If you see a couple that you admire the way they are affectionate with one another, move on to them. Let them counsel you in that area. If you see another couple that are succeeding in the way they fulfill purpose together, move on to them. Let them counsel you on how to fulfill your purpose. Glean from the strength of the seniors. Do not follow counsel that is not biblically based. And if you're looking for a kingdom marriage, don't go for a counselor that is not kingdom minded. Counseling itself opens your mind to the things that you encounter in marriage, and when you finally encounter them, you're not taken by surprise. You already knew they will come, so somehow you're prepared. When you already know your problem, the problem is half solved. And it also helps you to understand each other better. During this time of courtship, also merge your goals, your visions, and your purpose. Before you marry somebody, you already have observed these things about them and you see that they are okay by you. But then they can clash. There are places where they can always clash. For example, like two medical doctors getting married. They might be very comfortable with each other's career, but if they don't spend time planning how they'll merge this together, the very career can destroy their marriage. You need to plan. The man may be like, the first 2 years of our marriage, I want to go and specialize. And the lady might not also be able to specialize within the same time, because maybe it might be the same time they are trying to have children. You need to sit together and plan how your future will be, what will be going on in this year while this is going on, because these two things cannot be going on together. Plan it in line with your time and your finances. Remember, you are humans. You cannot have everything done at the same time and then you succeed at it and your family still survive. You might even succeed at it, but the family will burn. The wife, as you're coming as a helpmeet, see how you'll be of help. Sometimes the help may be very demanding. It might need you something as serious as quitting your job for a moment. As the man, you might just have to work from a particular location. See how you'll be able to come together and work as one. Don't be in Africa, marry somebody in Europe, and you people don't see how you will shake your jobs. Who is moving to Europe? Or who is moving back to Africa? It is not God's will to just marry and then move apart and you're doing your thing, I'm doing my thing. There is marriage on paper. No. Plan in such a way. Who needs to take a transfer from work? Sometimes who needs to resign? Who needs to look for a new job? Even who needs to work less hours in order to create time to be more emotionally available? Plan to create time for the marriage during the courtship. In my case, when I was even courting, I remember I had to take a study leave from work so that I and my husband could move into the same town just before our wedding. It was not possible for me to take a transfer because the process was too long and complicated and maybe sometimes impossible in the work I was doing. But God opened a possibility where I could take a study leave. So I went back to school. I went back to do my master's at that time, because that was the only way I'll move into the same town with my husband. From there, we worked other means to continue living together. Work that out during your courtship period. One key thing that I don't want you to leave out during your courtship period, finish up with your single goals. You know, all those things that you told yourself that you want to do before you get married. Like, I want to travel the world, I want to get a master's degree, I want to get a PhD before I get married. Or maybe I want to start a business before I get married. Finish up with it when you're courting. Well, I am not even saying that you should set up some big things you must do before you get married, but if you had set up some things, finish them, especially things that will take you away from the marriage. Let's say, for example, you have planned to travel to a particular country and do something, or anything that will make you unavailable for marriage. Finish it up. It might be a very demanding school program. Finish up all those things so that when you come into the marriage, you will have the time for it. Don't get married today and tomorrow you're going for a 4 months internship. Why get married today just to go for a 4 months internship tomorrow? Just finish the 4 months internship. Get married when you create the time for it. It is either you change your mind that you do not need to do that again, you keep it aside and you don't mind, you prefer the marriage over that, you sacrifice that for the marriage and you're happy, fine. Or you do it before you're married. Don't come together and then try to be tearing yourself apart again with things that you should have done before getting married. Another thing is, create the kind of family you want to have in your mind and seal it together in prayers. Commit it before God, pray together, sealing the kind of family that you want to have. In fact, praying together in courtship is very necessary. All these plans that you are making, seal them together in prayer. When the two of you agree on something together, even God Himself in heaven always confirm it, especially when it is in His will. So don't hesitate to always agree on things, even about your future family, about your unborn children. While in courtship, agree on those things, pray on them, agree on your plans, pray on them, pray together. Spend your courtship talking a lot about family and praying together. I don't want to go deep into this issue of talking about family because I'll create a total different video telling you the different things you should talk about when in courtship. But spend a lot of time talking and praying and studying together, studying the word of God, studying books about marriage and relationship, helping each other out spiritually, studying the word of God together, and praying cannot be overemphasized in courtship because that's the way you bring in Jesus into your relationship. Because a cord of 3 strands cannot easily be broken. You don't want to stand only the two of you in your relationship. Something will break you. But if He is in it, nothing will break you. You know, between courtship and marriage, you will meet a lot of obstacles. And if you're not praying, what will keep you going? The obstacles themselves may break the relationship. So, don't rely on yourself during this period. Rely on the word, rely on God, rely on prayers. And finally, do what I know you already want to do. Plan your wedding. Yes, plan your wedding. Wedding planning is a big deal of its own, but then plan your wedding according to your size, according to how you like it, and according to how you can afford it. Don't be pressured by every other person's idea. Plan your wedding according to how it favors the both of you. See, in marriage, the most important people are the two of you. Try as much as possible to be at peace with every other person, to honor every other person, but choose what the both of you decide on first before any other person's opinion. If the two of you are standing together with God, no other person can break the two of you. Even all the naysayers will agree with you at the end of the day. So, my lovely people, this is what you should be doing when you are in a relationship. Not doing nonsense or doing nothing. Until next time.